Thank you for joining me today. It's your boy, OG. Listen, today, what we're going to talk about on God's Messenger is a subject that's a little bit controversial, but it's the truth that has to be told. Um, you know, you hear a lot of times complaints from women, not all. Anything I'm saying is not all, not everybody, okay? But a lot of complaints from women saying that they can't find a good man, and they're very upset about that, wondering why and such. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Okay. Um, Now, to quote my friend Kevin Gates, a lot of women are looking for what they consider to be high value men. Which, okay, what is a high value man? Let's talk about that for a second. All right. Most times we're talking about economics when people are saying what a high value man is, right? Um, has uh, very good education or got really lucky in life. Most of the time it takes hard work. They have assets, you know, they drive Bentleys, um, uh, Ferraris and Rolls Royces and things like that. They live in a beautiful home. They got all of the things in the world uh, from a financial standpoint that you can have. All right, this is what they're bringing to the table. Now, you know, I don't know if you know this or not, but you're talking about 1% of the men in the world, like 1%. The other 99, hardworking men, go to work every day. Um, you know, good character. I'm not saying because you got money you don't have good character, but I'm talking about the 99% now. The 99% have also good career, a good career, or a good work ethic, or they're solid. There's a lot of good, solid men in the what you would call 99 percentile, being the middle and on the bottom. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of people with money that are assholes. So but that's a different subject. Okay, what I'm talking about now is what women consider to be a high value man. Okay, so that's 1% of the population of the world. All right, now on the other side, you have women, um, beautiful, all sorts of different levels of education and things like that, right? Good work ethic, all of those things, right? But let's be realistic in this world. Um, the men are usually going to fit into that quote unquote high value um, uh, level, right? So you got 100% of women looking for 1% of men. Does that make sense? Right? But that's what it is. 100% of women are looking for 1% of the men. Women are saying, no, I don't, I'm not interested in this guy. I'm going to hold out for something better and things like that. When women are at their peak, sometimes, or a lot of times, they're doing that. I'm going to look for something better. I'm going to wait for something better. And that person may have been the right person for you, but you're looking for the high value man, right? Okay. You got a very short window, to accomplish that. Because as time goes on, time never lost a fight. Ladies, you can be beautiful today. And of course, I'm talking about on the outside. You can be beautiful today, and the clock is ticking. If you live long enough, it's destined to happen. That's not going to be as attractive over a period of time. Sorry to tell you that, but that's just a fact, right? So now, okay, we come to the table. On this side of the table, we got somebody from the 1%. On this side of the table, we have all the women that want somebody in that 1%. Okay, now, this is where some of the disparity comes in at. Okay, so on this side of the table, well, on the men's side of the table, what they're bringing to that table is what we just spoke about. You know, they're making, uh, over $300,000 a year upwards. Um, you know, and they have everything that goes along with that. On the other side of the table, I'm not saying that there's not women that bringing something real strong to the table. I'm just talking about the majority. Okay, you come to the table on the other side. What are you bringing to the table? A lot of times, I hear women say when they, what they're bringing to the table. I'm a good person. I have a good education. Um, I know how to take care of a man. This is what you're bringing to the table. On the men's side of the table, he had to daggone bust his butt to be able to afford uh, uh, highline cars and highline jewels and build his company to a certain point where you consider him to be a high value man. And all a woman has to do at a certain stage, get up in the morning, put something nice on, fix herself up. She's beautiful. Walk out in the street. That's it. This guy will pull that damn expensive car over and snatch her right up because he doesn't care if she works at McDonald's. He, we don't think like that. Men don't think like that. Like we're not going to meet a girl and then devalue her because of where she works or even if she works at all. But if a woman meets a man who's not working at all and doesn't have any of the financial trappings, he's done. She don't want nothing to do with him. She, I mean, that's just a fact. Okay, he has to bring something strong to the table, and she don't necessarily have to bring anything strong to the table. So anyway, so what am I saying here? What I'm saying is ladies, um, you might have to lower your standards. I can hear you right now. I'm not lowering my standards. Okay. Let's be realistic. All right. If you're 35 years old, you got two children, from the past, and and you're working at McDonald's or whatever. This is not what the high value man, quote unquote, is looking for. He 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 has his choice of the cream of the crop. He has his choice. um, no children, so he can be the center of attention. Uh, young in their prime. Um, I mean, he has his pick. Is he going to pick you with the three children at 40 years old? To raise somebody else's children and such. I mean, how small is that number you're shooting at? The guys who would, you know, who, are looking for that ready-made family in their life and such like that. Okay, but there are guys. They just not in the 1%. They're just not the what you would consider to be maybe a high value man. To me, a man who treats you like you want to be treated and respects you and is there for you is high value for you. You know, those guys are out there. You kind of match your level, but it's a fantasy to think, that this guy who's the president of the bank wants to marry you at, or make a life with you at 40 years old plus. right? And take care of someone else's children and whatever other baggage goes along with it. He doesn't have to do that. So I'm just saying, lower your standards a little bit. It shouldn't even say lower standards. I just water seeks its level. Okay, just you find where your level is at, right? It's that simple. If you have a job making, let's say, $20,000 or $30,000 in a year, right? And you see somebody pull by in a brand new Rolls Royce, you don't feel stressed by that because they're so far out of the realm of what it is that, you know what I mean, that's achievable for you. You just look at it and say, maybe say nothing or go, okay, that's a nice car. And you go on with your life. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the high value man because you see him and you like, okay, that's nice, all right. But it's so far out of your realm, there's no sense in stressing over it. Let's find our level and enjoy that. Find a good person in that level and have a great life. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with you working, he's working, and you guys make a life together. Not everybody's flying in private jets. Okay? Happiness, peace. Most men, they just want peace. Most of the ones I know, I'm talking about peace at home. You don't want to be fighting the world out here in the street and then got to come home and fight a whole nother war. Let me know what you think. Okay? Here's a little illustration. Show you what I'm talking about. Don't forget to hit the bell notification. Don't forget to subscribe. And we'll be back real soon with another one and another one. Peace.
Ma'am, I asked you, why do you need a high value man? You want it because of the lifestyle. And that's fine. Just say, I want a high value lifestyle. I don't want to live like this. I'd rather have more money, more things to do, and I don't make the kind of money to do that. I want somebody to pay for it. I could at least respect that. Do you work?
Yes, I do.
Do you make more than $50,000 a year?
Almost that amount.
Okay. Would you be all right with a man making almost that amount?
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly. Exactly. There you go, gentlemen. Another woman who wants more. This is why I don't talk about regular guys, because even women in her position want men making more than her. 36, and she still wants a man earning more. Ma'am, I get that you want that, but you're shooting outside of your looks league. And men who have high value money don't pick 36-year-olds when they can get 25-year-olds. You don't need a high value man. All you need is a man. But you want a rich man. You don't need one. What would you say you rank on the look scale from 1 to 10? You can't use 7. The laugh, gentlemen? Maybe 6. Exactly. Why would a high value man who can afford 8s, 9s, and 10s get a 36-year-old 6?
Not every high.
Exactly. Exactly. Spoken by the woman who does not even have one, but you said 2 of them want to marry you and you ain't went on a date with them. God damn.